What is up, Amazon private label builders? Today I'm going to be with good friend Danny Carlson talking about Amazon listing optimization and Amazon copywriting. So he should be coming in at some point. And I have a couple people to tag in and no one's watching, so I'm going to take my time and do that. So, hey, I don't know who popped in, but how's it going? Oh, hey, what's up, Garrett? How you doing? Is Danny on here yet? Oh, yep, there's Danny. He should be. Why? You can't. Oh no. Danny Carlson is watching. Well, Danny Carlson should also be jumping on. How's it going, Danny? You're my guest for the day, so. How's it going, Nick? Nice to see you. We're going to be talking about listing optimization with an expert, so you definitely want to be staying on. What's up, Garrett? Who else is on here? Say hello. Hey, Mason. I know you're sitting right next to me, so it's kind of awkward. You guys would all love my setup. I have my wallet holding my phone because my phone's about to die, and I have another phone holding up my other phone. So then using Mason's laptop to hold this all together. This is a very intricate system I have going on just so I can do this live. Took me 5 minutes to get this ready. Oh, hey, I'm Patty. And has Danny figured out how to get on? Oh, nope. Hey, Danny, you may want to do this on your phone. I don't know about the laptop. You can get multiple people. Just a quick little tip. But yeah, just waiting on you. Sip my coffee. Yep. But before we go in, I met Danny back in December at a conference called Capitalism Conference. We were talking about Amazon. He runs an Amazon agency, basically helps brands and does their copy, does pay-per-click, does all these services for brands on Amazon. A little background into him, but we've stayed in touch. I've been on his podcast, and we've just became good friends since then. We have a love for nootropics, so hopefully you got your package with your little gift. Oh, there we go. What's that? Ooh. And just wait for Facebook to load, and he should be added any minute. What's going on, Danny? Okay, cool. Should be good to rock then. What's up? You're super staticky.
Can you guys hear me better?
Yeah, I got you now. You're still you're coming up so static whenever you talk.
Is that better?
Yeah, oh, way better.
Okay, yeah, headphones are messing with it or something.
No, all good.
Anyways, good morning, guys.
So you are in the Amazon private label building for newbies community. Introduce yourself, tell them what you do. Just start it off with that.
Awesome. My name is Danny Carlson. I am the founder of Kenji ROI, Amazon Seller Services. Like Rob said, we do a lot of listing optimization stuff, product photography. Actually, right behind me, we do a lot of product photography over there. I'll show you a little bit. Back there, we got this whole co-working space for entrepreneurs that we're getting all set up. A bunch of flip-down desks going in the wall, and in the back is a bunch of 4 hammocks all chilling back there. I'm going to have a little mini fridge, a little honesty market where you can buy good quality food and just check it out on your iPad yourself. And other than that, I've been selling on Amazon myself for 2 years. Started out with my own product. Had some issues with those, ran into cash flow issues, and actually got my Amazon account suspended. And then so for the past year or so, partnering with other people, either to help them grow themselves or to basically be a 50-50 partner behind the scenes without without actually being at my account.
Yep, absolutely. That's awesome. I had the very same realization of like you can only grow so much with cash, and it's like, wait, you have the skill, people have cash, people have product already. It just makes sense to use your skill to go partner and crush it for the both of you. It really lets you scale without having to go and spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in inventory.
Oh, totally. Yeah. At the end of the day, I think Amazon is mostly a cash flow in general. Most people don't realize that, like, sure, you can spend $3,000 on the inventory, but if you don't have another $3,000 to buy your second round of inventory before you get paid for the first, then you're shit out of luck, right? And especially when you're growing really fast, $3,000 for your first shipment, but then your sales are growing really fast and you need $6,000 for your second shipment. Then you need $12,000. Then you need, it's a victim of your own success that way, right?
It is a killer. Yeah, I try to tell everyone that. I'm like, when people are like, yeah, I have $2,000 to start it, only $2,000. I'm like, oh, that's going to be really, really tough to start because number one, you're going to need more for the next inventory order, and you're probably going to have to order double. So that 2,000 is, you're going to run out, and it's just like a game of like, you're never going to be able to get ahead with that type of cash flow. That's why I always like preach, like go do like retail arbitrage or something like that to basically double your cash so you have that available, or go figure out a way that you can get capital, whether it be through a bank, credit card, something that you're able to have some source of, okay, if I need to go get $4,000 for my next inventory order, you have some line of credit that you can go take advantage of to basically go to that next step and go order double that inventory and make sure you stay in stock so you don't run out, which is pretty much a killer in some categories, is running out and dropping the rankings. And it's kind of like you gotta go through the whole process again and spend all those marketing dollars, and you're never going to get ahead if you just build, run out, build, run out, build, run out. But yeah, let's dive right in.
Absolutely. And the problem doesn't go away.
Yeah, exactly. It's always going to be there. So since you're a copywriter, I think you've told me you're a copywriter by trade, right? That's like something that's you've always done, right? Or train yourself in.
And totally, yeah. A lot of training on copywriting. Have a lot of experience writing direct copy for sales pages. But Amazon is where it really refined my copywriting skills. So when I got started in Amazon, was one of the things that really focused on is trying to differentiate my listings with really good copy that's really keyword optimized. And so I just really refined my skills, so to speak, on that. And that was actually the start of the agency that I have as well. It just started out, I didn't plan on making an Amazon agency. I just started doing some copywriting gigs for friends of mine who are also Amazon sellers just on the side. And then before I knew it, I had been doing a lot of that. I'd gotten pretty good at it. Started people to work underneath me to scale that up. And then pretty much that's my main focus now is the Amazon agency. Well, it's funny the way that works. Like Kenji ROI, I didn't even plan on making this a company, right? So that name is just like, that's literally my middle name with ROI on the end. Like I don't even particularly like the name, just what I was calling it still. That's the name I have now.
It's stuck, right? Yeah. So so obviously you said, what made you want to focus on copywriting? Like where did you obviously differentiate yourself? But what like deep down like makes you love the science of copy and basically selling people with words?
Oh yeah, what really got me into it was it was a number of instances where people were telling me copywriting is the number one skill that's going to increase your sales skill set in general, just because the nature of copywriting is basically you're hacking inside the mind of your potential customer. So in order to write good sales copy for your product, you have to know your customer better than they actually know themselves. So you have to do a ton of research, try to like figure out what are their actual pain points, what kind of psychological triggers are actually causing them to buy this stuff over your competitor's stuff. Most of the time, the people that are buying, they don't even actually realize this stuff themselves. So you have to figure that out, hack inside their minds, and then that's going to help you not only in the copywriting, that's going to help you market your product better in all other ways as well. You can create a better product. You can differentiate it a lot better according to your customers' needs. And it really translates to everything.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say for first time, someone writing their listing for the first time, what's the main elements that they need to basically like what should they focus on? Because there's a lot that can go into it. Like, what's the couple things that need to be main focus when it comes to writing their listing?
Okay, well, when it comes to an Amazon listing, obviously keywords are super, super key. So I see a lot of people just going into merchant words or one of these softwares, and then just whatever the top 4 keywords are or something like that, they just take them all and stuff them into their title. And then, that's pretty much that as far as their keyword optimization goes. But the thing about tools like this is that they're just tools. A lot of them have really inaccurate data. Like with the agency, we use 4 or 5 different keyword tools just so we have a good wide set of information. And they always different information. Merchant words is totally viral launch keyword. Keyword tool gives you a totally different. And so you got to take it with a grain of salt. You see a lot of people putting so much importance on just one piece of data that's probably not that good. Really need to do a lot of deep customer research. Like I always say that reading through the reviews is the best source of this information, because maybe merchant word says that this one phrase is super core phrase, but if none of your customers really care about that phrase, maybe searching for it, and maybe people are looking for another product for that, not your product, then it's doing you any good to have that phrase at the start of your title. You need the phrase at the start of your title should be the most important phrase for your customers. And the only way you're going to find that out is by reading a ton of customer reviews. Go to your competitors that have hundreds of reviews, read through all of them. Like literally all of them. Spend hours reading through reviews and actually getting inside the mind of your customer. Only then should you be even starting to write your listing, once you have a real understanding of your product.
Yep, absolutely. That is so true. I love the whole reading through reviews, because not only are you going to find the keywords, you're going to find the pain points. And it's the pain points that really sell someone. And people are literally actively just putting it out there. So if it's a product you have no idea about or you don't really understand, just listen to the customers. Like, don't try to think what it is. Use their pain points to basically base your listing off of that. I found that, that alone tenfold helps out with understanding their basically what they're thinking when they're buying this and how this is going to help them and benefit them. So that, the reviews are so killer. When it comes down to what goes from an average to a great listing, where do you see what would you say to go from basically everyone on Amazon that's writing probably a very similar type of listing to a fantastic listing? What elements go into that?
Okay, so first I'm going to go over a few basic guidelines here, and then more into nitty gritty. How do you just really polish it up? So firstly, a lot of people make mistakes also with the bullet points of making them way too long. We found the best for conversion rate to be between 130 and 170 characters. So that's pretty much 2 lines. If you're looking at it on desktop, that'll be 2 lines of text, usually 2 sentences. Also, starting it out with a benefit-driven heading. So we like to do it we start out with a little alt code symbol, like a check mark or something like that, just to make it stand out. And then the heading will be in all caps. So the important thing about the heading is that it should actually be the main benefit of that bullet point. It shouldn't be, for example, something that is not a benefit would be aluminum handle. But the benefit of an aluminum handle is that it's, it's a bomb-proof aluminum handle, or doesn't transfer heat or something like that. So you want to take and you want to distill it into a nice little heading that's 3, maximum 4 words, and then explain why your product has that benefit. Most people, they have the feature, just a bland feature, and then they try to explain why that feature is a benefit later. But you want to drag people into actually reading the bullet point with a really benefit-rich heading. It's you have to sell people to read each individual part of your listing. And then another really common mistake I see is with the description. So many people, they just put a giant block of text in there when you could be using HTML. So, I mean, obviously, that should be using enhanced brand content. If you do have Amazon brand registry, then enhanced brand content is much better, much higher conversion rate. Definitely go get that trademark. It's worth it. Absolutely. You will have a higher conversion rate with enhanced brand content. But if not, you can always do an HTML description. Just breaking it up with some simple bolded headings to explain like what that, then have what's underneath it. Also, bullet point list is a great way to take up more space on the page. So a lot of people, they have a description that, you know, only takes up like 5 or 6 lines on the page. But if you have a bullet point list, you can have, you know, one word, but then going down the page a lot longer. You're just taking up more space on the page, so it's harder for people to just scroll past your description, not even notice it. You can have some really great information in there. You can have some call to action, add to carts. You can have, I like to put a little frequently asked questions section. So like the most common objections or questions that come up from your customers, I like to put that in there. So when people are scrolling down to look at the reviews or the questions, they're going to find the answer to one of the questions right there, and then maybe go up to buy instead of clicking on one of your competitors, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So a lot of people are missing out on those two opportunities in particular. Those are probably the biggest things when it comes to optimizing the listing. And I just want to emphasize one more time too, this whole thing about benefits and features. A lot of people think doing the benefits, but they're not really. It's still a feature. So there's this little exercise that I like to do called the ask why 3 times method. I think this is popularized by the people at Digital Marketer. Really smart when it comes to marketing. But basically, you take a feature and then you have to ask, why is that good? 3 times. So you go deeper and deeper because people think they're at the benefit, not truly at the true benefit, usually until the 3rd time. So let's go with the example of aluminum handle. So why is it good? Why is it good that it's strong? Well, it won't break if I on the ground. So why is it good if it doesn't break when I drop it on the ground? Well, that's good because you know, then I don't have to buy a new one. It'll last a long time.
Yep.
You know, this one will last me for a lifetime. And so, you know, we went from aluminum handle to, you know, the last handle you'll ever buy. You know, it's just so much more powerful right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I so stress the benefits versus features. If you have a feature-driven listing, you aren't selling it because, like, my thing is when someone searches your product on Amazon, that when they go in the search bar and type in pot, they already know that they want a pot. It's now basically your job to convince them to buy your pot versus everyone else's pot. And you have that leverage of knowing that they already know what they're looking for. You don't need to sell them on the idea of the product. You need to sell them on the idea of your product.
Oh, absolutely. And pictures are also super, super important. Did you want me to go into photos as well?
Yeah, that was right up in my question list. So just dive right into photos.
Awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, I always say that and copywriting are the 2 things that you absolutely need to optimize fully. You know, maybe photos are a little bit more important, but the photos don't matter if your copywriting and your keywords also suck. Because if your keywords suck, you're actually not going to be showing up properly for all the searches that you want, and no one's even going to see your photos. But then concurrently, especially your main photo, if your main photo is terrible or it's not as good as your competitors, then way less people are actually going to click into your list, no matter how good the rest of your listing is. If you're, you know, just think about it on the search results page or on the frequently bought together section that's on a listing, which apparently now is over 30% of all sales on Amazon come from the frequently bought together section, or customers who bought this item also bought. Super huge there, guys. So make sure you optimize for that. So think about it. When a customer sees that listing before they click on it, all they see is the title and the main image, and you know, sometimes a little bit of the bullet points, but you can't really read it all, right? So the main image and the title, you got to make sure that the right information is within that first little bit of the title before Amazon cuts it off and you got to make sure that main image is super appealing compared to everyone else there. So the number one, the one that appeals the most, because that will just get more clicked onto your listing. Without that, that's the first thing you should optimize. So points about the main image. You should make it as large as possible, so it's taking up all the way to the borders of the edge. And the layout as well. A lot of people, if your product has like 2 or 3 parts, like let's say it's a product and a box, a lot of people put the box like right next to the product, and then there's like a big white space up top and up bottom. It'd be so much better to make the product taking up like a lot more space, and you could just put the box kind of in the background somewhere, a little bit smaller. One, it looks way better, and 2, you're taking up a lot more space. It's more appealing. So an easy way to do that, you take photos, or get your ideally professional photographer to take photos of everything individually, get the backgrounds clipped out, so now you're left with transparent background PNG files of these products, of the box and the product individually. Then you can drag them around and resize them as you see fit. Instead of in the studio, if you try to arrange them nicely, like actually in the studio, then you're just stuck with whatever you shoot, right? You can't fix it later. But this way, you can really drag it around, resize everything, and create multiple variations really easily. So the next step with that would be, once you arrange them in some good ways, send them off to the graphic designer to get some shadow effect or some reflection effects added to them. You guys have probably seen like a product that's sitting what looks on a white background, and there's just a little reflection effect, like as if it was sitting on a mirror. You don't want to overdo it, or else Amazon will actually reject that image. But a nice little one really helps it stand out, makes it look a lot more professional. And just, I can't overstate the importance of the main image, getting it super professionally touched up. The lighting's got to be perfect. Everything's got to be perfect, because nothing else matters if your main image sucks.
Yeah, oh, totally. Yeah. And your thoughts on putting in text and images, is that something you do? It's on the line of the terms of service, but is that something you still do? Is that something that you're like, you know what, I'm going to throw it up there, and if it's taken off, it gets taken off? What's your attitude on that?
We don't put text on our main images. Some people can definitely get away with it. I don't even necessarily think it's that good of an idea in most cases.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd recommend is if almost everyone has a super well optimized hero image for your product, then I would consider putting a couple logos, or just adding a couple logos to your main image. Quite often you can get away with that, and I've gotten away with a few products with that one for a very long period of time, like over a year on some products, and it does help.
Yep.
But in general, we don't have any logos or text on the main image. Now, when it comes to the other images, absolutely, we have at least 2 images with every photo set that includes graphic design. Pretty minimal on the text, because we still want the text to be readable from mobile. Like if I'm scrolling on my phone here, I want to be able to actually read everything that's on there without zooming in, because people are super lazy. That's the biggest mistake I see, is people putting a ton of really small text on their images. Amazon customers are lazy as hell. That's why the frequently bought customers who bought this item also bought section is so popular. People are like, oh, that one looks better, I'm going there. They got the fear of missing out. And it's actually not against terms of service to do that in other images.
Yeah. I was going to say about lazy Amazon customers.
I am.
Yeah,
you go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry to cut you off, but you were saying about lazy Amazon customers. You have to think, people shopping on Amazon, they're shopping on Amazon because they don't want to go to the store. They don't want to take that time because it's a convenience. So you always have to take that into consideration of everyone on there shopping is doing it out of convenience, and basically that they can get anything they want in about 2 minutes in a quick search, versus taking 15 minutes to drive to the store, 10 minutes to walk around, 5 minutes to check out. It's all about convenience for them. So yeah, when you're saying people, it's kind of like swipe right through, you have to catch their attention. You have to get them to want to basically read it.
And totally, it's Amazon. Shopping on Amazon is basically like if you're shopping at Walmart and you're looking at something, and then a Walmart rep just came up to you, and he came up to you with exactly 5 other of the same of whatever you're looking at that are better, that are more popular. It's like, oh, check out this one. This one's even cooler. This one's cooler. And then like the next thing you go look at, it just comes at you with, oh yeah, a lot of customers buy this one. It's actually even better and much higher rated. Just like shoving stuff in your face constantly. Right? That's what Amazon is. They're constantly getting more and better stuff shoved in your face all the time.
Absolutely.
So what I was saying earlier about, so it is against terms of service technically to have the text and logos on your main image, but it is explicitly not against terms of service to have graphic design and text and logos on your secondary images. You can go look this up. Amazon actually updated their product image guidelines, their official ones on the website. It specifically states it only applies to the main image to not have any logo. Absolutely, it's a good idea to have a couple graphic design images. I like to have no more than 3 or 4, well, 4 maximum points to go over in one image. Again, you don't want to overwhelm people. And the other big part about the image set is the lifestyle photos. Not a good idea to just get really crappy graphic design, someone just photoshopping your product into a crap. That can be done properly, but it's got to be done well, and it's actually not that cheap to get that done well. That's something we've been working on for a while at Kenji ROI, trying to get a good package together for that. And yeah, it's actually not that cheap to to get that done where it looks proper. So the best thing to do is actually hire a real model, actually showing off your product. And the key there is actually showing off your product in the way that customers would actually use it, not the model. I see this all the freaking time, man. You have this beautiful model that's holding the product, and they're just like holding it up, and they're like staring at the camera like, hey, look at me with this product. It's like, that is terrible. Like, it looks like you're just like paid to like post the product, and you're posting it to your Instagram, like a selfie or something like that. It's terrible. Like, you have to have the model actually using the product. The one really funny one, I saw someone with like a face roller, and the woman, beautiful model, she was holding the face roller in her hands like this, next to her face, staring right at the camera, and she was in the garden. I was like, why would you ever be rolling your face in the garden? Like, no, that's not how that works.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Exactly. So, take the pictures in the bathroom with the model, not looking at the camera, actually, receiving the benefits of the product, using it, or like, freshly touching her face after her new fresh skin has been rolled off or whatever your product. But yeah, that's super, super key. Actually receiving the main benefit, not just posing with your product.
Mm-hmm. This is something you were talking about, what's it called? Whenever it's the 3 of them, it literally is just like went out of my mind. The buy together. Another hack I just started using that has worked really well with conversion rates. It's brought my conversion rates up, and also I think it's bringing people back to the listing because Amazon sends out emails to remind you to use them as coupons. That's something I recently just started to use. Is I have a coupon on all my listings now. So not only does it say 5% off on the search results, also, whenever they click that coupon, if they don't use it, they get emails from Amazon saying, hey, you have unused coupons, because I got them in my mailbox as well. So that was something I found recently that is brought up conversions, and it's almost like retargeting, and you don't have to do it. So that was like a small little hack that I don't really hear much out there. I don't know if that's something you've started to integrate, and I just filled the coupon price into my to my margin, so it's not even like that 5 to 10%. It's not even a big deal.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great new marketing tool that Amazon released like 3 or 4 months ago or whatever it is now. Yeah, absolutely should be using it. Amazon comes out with new little things all the time, and a lot of people still aren't using that one.
Yeah.
If you're one of the first people to start testing out and figure out how to use a lot of these new tools that Amazon comes out with, then you're going to have a window at least 3 or 4 months until a lot of the bigger sellers even start using this stuff. So make sure you're following guys like Rob to keep up to date with when all this stuff comes out, and test it out for yourself. And if it doesn't work the first time, don't stop and give up and never use it again. try to figure out how it's actually going to work. You know what I mean? Because when you can actually get a real advantage. Most people will test out the new thing. They're like, it didn't work for me, and so I'm never doing it again. It happened with enhanced brand content. When enhanced brand content first came out, there was a lot of people who tried it, and they're like, oh, my conversion rate went down. Enhanced brand content sucks. It doesn't work. And then they didn't use it again for the next 6 months or a year. Well, in the meantime, the people who figured out how to actually create proper enhanced brand content were having conversion rates that increased from 2 to upwards of 10% for a lot of people, which is insane.
Oh yeah, and like when it comes down to conversion rates, I feel like that's something that a lot of people overlook. It's like when you increase your conversion rates, you're not increasing the amount of traffic to your listing. If you go from 15 to 30% by integrating what we're talking about, that you just doubled your sales without having to take any more traffic to your listing. By doubling your sales, all you're going to do is push your listing up. So in theory, you're even going to sell more by increasing your conversion rates, because you'll have that, you'll have those sales from the conversion rates plus a BSR boost to help you get up higher and get shown up more, get shown up higher in the results.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I was talking earlier about like the hero image being your window into your product, right? If your hero image sucks, your click-through rate is going to suck. You're not getting people onto your listing. But it's also pointless if your listing sucks, then you're not converting people and your conversion rate's low. Then you're not actually making any sales, right? So
Exactly.
you should be paying a lot of attention to your click-through rate and your conversion rates. And the best data for that I've found is in Amazon pay-per-click. So with your actual search term report for Amazon pay-per-click, gives you really good data into what keywords are actually giving you good click-through rates and conversion rates, your overall click-through rates, your overall conversion rates. Super important metrics for Amazon ranking, as well as just not just wasting all the eyeballs that are coming to your product.
Yeah, exactly. I guess going into PPC, I didn't expect to talk to PPC, but we're getting into there. What would you say? What's your initial strategy for when someone launches on PPC? Are you like going to do an auto campaign, figure out the keywords, put them into a manual, optimize from there, or do you put a list of keywords out there? What's your strategy for you just launched a product and you're going into PPC?
Yeah, so, I'm not a huge PPC expert, but I'll go into what I do. I actually had Mike Degar from PPC Entourage on the podcast yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Mike.
He had some interesting things to say about that on the Actualized Freedom podcast. But what I do is similar to what he does in the beginning with his PPC Entourage management client. So we always start with an automatic campaign for sure, just because it'll come up with keywords that I haven't thought of before. It can be pretty aggressive on some things. You have to be very careful in the beginning, just because it will go after some stuff that's not going to work. And you don't want bad click-through rates and really terrible conversion rates. But then I also have a manual campaign, starting with a really broad research campaign. So it can have upwards of 1,000 keywords in there, as long as they're relevant. That's the super key thing, is you don't want to just like find 1,000 keywords. Like, you don't want to go to a keyword tool and then just copy and paste the entire search results in there, because they're never going to be relevant enough. You always got to go through manually, pick out the ones that aren't relevant, so that you're not going to actually show up for those keywords. You're not going to pay for them when customers are looking for something else. That's also going to make your click-through rate and conversion rates really bad, which will just hurt product overall, or hurt your PPC campaign overall. So as many relevant keywords as you can, put them into a manual campaign to see which ones start out. And then slowly, it does take time, weeks or several months to actually get this whole process going, but slowly moving them into a broad match campaign, the ones that are working. And then from there, the ones that are working in the broad match campaign, test them out in the phrase match and exact match campaign. That's the basics of it. There's a little bit more advanced stuff you can do, but I wouldn't even think about that until you have probably at least 2 months experience on your campaigns, where they're actually aged, so to speak. Because Amazon, they move really slow with the PPC. Like if you put your budget up to $1,000 a day, they're probably only gonna still give you $30 or $40 a day in the beginning, because they don't trust your campaign yet. So you have to give it some time.
No, absolutely, for sure. And I guess we'll we'll head back a little bit to keywords, and that's the last thing I want to touch on is how do you basically say what's a good keyword versus what's a bad keyword? Are you basing that off intellect of saying, okay, this makes no sense, or what's your way you basically say you say good and bad keywords?
So yeah, like when it comes to manually filtering through, I mean, obviously use the keyword tools, you come up with a massive list. The only good way is to manually just go and pick out the ones that are not relevant, right? So in the beginning, I'm pretty loose about what actually is relevant. If it's, relevant to the product category in general, maybe not the specific, I'll probably still keep it. But you also got to think, does this keyword phrase potentially refer to products that are completely different than mine? That's where you run into problems in PPC, when your ad is showing up on search results page for a product that is like definitely not what people are typing in that phrase are looking for. So you always got to think, maybe it's something that sounds like it's relevant, but it's like, that people usually use that phrase to refer to a completely different product. I would take that out. And then obviously there's a lot of phrases and keywords that are just totally not relevant to that product. You definitely want to just axe those. You want to axe a lot of the dumb ones that show up in keyword tools all the time. It's just a lot of ones that are just garbage. You want to get rid of all of those. But yeah, really being careful about the ones that usually refer to totally different products.
Absolutely. Great. Awesome info. I'd love to have you on. Now I'll send it over to you. Where should people find you? Where should people find your agency? All those links I'll put below, but you want to direct people your way. Where should they go?
Awesome. Yeah. So I got some really good resources if you guys want to go a lot deeper into what I was talking about with listing optimization. I've created a couple really in-depth blog posts about product photography, how to actually do it yourself, as well as listing copywriting, all the steps to creating an amazing listing when it comes to both of those things. You can find that blog post at kenjiroi.com/blog. So that's KENJIROI.com/blog, which is my middle name. A funny name. Everyone calls it Kenji Roy when I'm trying to explain it on the phone. It's like, oh, you're Kenji Roy, right? Yeah, sure.
You're like, hey, you know what? If you're gonna give me your money, then we can go with that. Awesome, man.
Oh, totally.
Awesome, Danny. Well, it was great having you on. I will drop any link that you want me to for the kenjiroi.blog. Also just kenjiroi.com. I'll throw your Facebook link in there. And it was great to have you on. Thank you for sharing all this awesome information about optimization, photos, keywords, PPC. I'm sure that the Amazon private label building community for newbies, I picked a really long title. I wanted to pack all these keywords in. It's just a mouthful every time. Sure, they appreciate all the information. And we'll be in touch.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Rob. It was great chatting with you guys. If you guys have any questions for me too, I'm always in Rob's group. So you can just @tag me within Rob's group or in the comments of this video and ask me any questions you want. So yeah, thanks for having me on and see you guys soon.
See you, Danny.